Love this stuff. All right, let's get into stuff. My job as a sports opinionist to have opinions beyond the film. You primarily, overwhelmingly, you do the film stuff. So Baker Mayfield's whizzing the ball, planting flags, grabbing his junk, police video. So I've been very critical of Johnny Manziel, Jameis Winston, Baker Mayfield coming into the NFL with their off-field garbage. Now, one of those guys is a bust. One of those guys is close to done. And Baker's yet to me to prove he's a great player. A lot of people disagree.
Well, he's only played 1 year, but he had a very good season.
Okay, he's 1-5 against playoff teams.
He was a rookie quarterback.
I mean, I hear how great.
All I'm doing is looking at his particular skill set, and I think his skill set is very, very good. And I think you got to see him throw it live. He's got a really good arm. He snaps it. He's compact. He's twitchy. He's accurate. He can make plays outside of the pocket.
Short.
Yeah, but I think because he's so quick in everything he does, that's not a big factor. I mean, I think he's a quicker, more compact thrower than Russell Wilson, who tends to drop the ball down to his waist when he throws the ball. But I think Baker Mayfield has very good traits to be a really good quarterback. I'm not a guy who anoints guys after 1 year in the league. I think that's ridiculous. The guy's played 1 year. He's played very well. I like the player on tape.
What about Sam Darnold? What do you think of him? I think he's terrific.
I think Darnold is in a good situation with Adam Gase. I think Darnold's a fascinating guy. Darnold is actually very good movement-wise outside of the pocket, but there's an interesting dichotomy there, Colin, because he almost has heavy feet in the pocket, and I know they're working with him on that. It's why he throws a lot of balls seemingly off balance, because his footwork in the pocket, he has a tough time moving his feet with his eyes, but he does have a knack of making off-balance throws that are accurate, and he does throw a very good deep ball. I like Sam Darnold. I like where he's going. I thought he was very inconsistent last year, but I think there's talent there, and I really like what Adam Gase does offensively.
Okay, so let's explain that, because I think Gase and by the way, Le'Veon Bell as a pass-catching and running back, I also think, and Jamison Crowder, a slot receiver. Yep. I do think Sam inherited mostly inferior support. O-line, back, receiver talent, I thought was kind of weak.
Yeah, I think their O-line might be a little better than you think. I think, obviously, they've got a back in Bell. Bell, in his last year in the league, he caught a lot of balls, but he wasn't really used much as a intermediate-type receiver. It was a lot of checkdowns and a lot of screens. Adam Gase, I guarantee, will use Bell in a more diverse way as a receiver, and I think they're really excited about that. They feel Bell can add that. They're going to miss Chris Herndon, the tight end, who they absolutely love. He's a guy you can split out wide. He'll miss the first 4 games. Yeah. They've got Robbie Anderson, who's clearly a vertical dimension, but they don't have great receivers. But I think they'll be an interesting team as the year progresses when they get Herndon back, and I think Adam Gase does a really nice job with his route concepts. He's really good at attacking defenses, understanding what defenses are playing, and designing routes that beat coverage.
I say Mitch Trubisky and Lamar Jackson are similar to me. I think they have ceilings that are fairly low as throwers. They're both athletic, and they need, on their rookie deals, a lot of support to win. When you eventually have to pay them, I don't think they're as good, say, as Dak, who gets a lot of criticism. Right. I think Dak's better than both. I think Trubisky and Lamar are limited. So Joy and I were talking about this yesterday. Baltimore's gone all in on Lamar's running, and they're like, we've got to run him 20 times. We've got to. Part of me does. Joy and I are like, that doesn't work in this league long term. But as he's growing as a quarterback, could I not argue for a year, that's what Seattle did with Russell. Make plays until you figure out the...
Yeah, but Russell was a better thrower. Look, Lamar did not throw the ball well last year. He actually threw it better his last year at Louisville than he did last year in the NFL.
Wow.
Now, they have Greg Roman as their offensive coordinator, and as you may recall, Greg Roman was the offensive coordinator for Colin Kaepernick. In the first couple of years, Kaepernick played well. And they're going to run a lot of that stuff. It'll be a lot of multiple tight ends. It'll be run game. The quarterback will be a part of that. The thing is, I think the league defense is that better now than they did when Kaepernick started doing it, because it was kind of new to the NFL. At some point, Lamar is going to have to throw the ball from the pocket. You have to do that in the league. What they want to do, obviously, is try to create situations in which they can get predictable fronts, predictable coverages, and then have Lamar throw versus those where everything is defined for him. Now, obviously, he can run, and he can create problems for defenses with his running. The question is, how much can you do that on a week-to-week basis?
Yeah, and I think when you get to the playoffs and you face better defenses and better coaches and better coordinators, that's where I think Trubisky and Lamar. Trubisky was frustrating for Matt Nagy last year in the playoffs. There were plays he couldn't make.
And Nagy does a really nice job as well scheming throws. But Trubisky, and again, it doesn't mean Trubisky can't be successful. And I made this point a couple of weeks ago to someone, and I took a lot of grief for it. Trubisky's not a natural thrower of the football.
He's not.
He's got kind of a funky delivery. He's a little bit of a pusher. He lifts his back leg off the ground before he delivers the ball, which means he locks his front leg, which makes it difficult for him to really drive the football.
Okay.
So he's got some limitations as a passer. But again, now you're getting into scheme. Nagy's scheme can really help him. It doesn't mean he can't throw 26 touchdowns and be at least a quality NFL quarterback. I'm not suggesting he's going to throw 4 touchdowns and 30 picks, but I think there are some limitations to his throwing ability.
So the only question you never answer on my show, and it makes me laugh, is, and I agree with you, when people
Okay.
when people suggest that Nick Foles is better than Carson Wentz,
Well, that's ridiculous.
you just won't answer the question. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Thank you. It is ridiculous.
It's not even worth the conversation.
Exactly. You and I could have a cocktail, be looking for conversation, and would not.
And by the way, I love Nick Foles. And he's a terrific guy. I've met him, been around him. I think he's a really professional NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
You can line up and win with Nick Foles.
Yes.
I mean, look, he won a Super Bowl, but I'm talking about over the course of 16 games as your starting quarterback.
Games.
You can line up and win with Nick Foles. But if you're just talking about level of talent, Carson Wentz, talent-wise, is probably top 5, top 6 in the league. You would never talk about Nick Foles like that.
By the way, so you were at Eagles camp.
I was at Eagles camp on Saturday.
People say Wentz is thinned out. He looks great.
Yeah, and also they've got some weapons this year. I mean, Deshaun Jackson gives them the vertical weapon. There's a nice rapport developing there. They've got 2 really good tight ends. I think their 2 tight end sets are going to be really difficult for teams because Dallas Goedert is very athletic. He's more athletic than Ertz. Ertz is a better route runner, obviously, at this point, but Goddard's a really intriguing player.
I think Philadelphia, there's 4 teams in the NFL, 5 teams in the NFL that I really feel are favorites to win it all. Philly, Rams, Patriots, Chiefs, Colts.
Colts are interesting. I mean, their offense was very good a year ago. Andrew Luck is very good. Frank Reich did a great job.
Yeah. Let's explain their offense because Luck actually had his best year.
Well, Luck had his best year for a couple of reasons. Number one, what Reich did is design an offense in which there were many more 3-step and 5-step drops. So the design of the play forced Luck to get the ball out. So Luck ran less, was less of a reckless player, did not put his body in harm's way. Plus, I think he understands that he can't do that. But there were much more designed throws in which the ball came out quicker. Plus, they did a lot of multiple tight end stuff. Multiple tight end stuff can be very tough on defenses, especially if those tight ends can line up outside the formation and be detached like an Eric Ebron, because what happens is his teams normally play their base personnel to that, and you can often get mismatches with athletic tight ends.
Yeah, 6'7" tight end who runs.
Eric Ebron has almost big wide receiver movement ability, so it becomes very difficult. And then, of course, even without great wideouts, they did not have great wideouts a year ago, although I think T.Y. Hilton's a lot better than people think.
Yeah.
But it's just he's not 6'2", 220. But they did a great job schematically to set up throws for Luck so the ball came out. And I'm anxious to see Marlon Mack this year in the context of that offense.
By the way, before we let you go, Greg, and Greg's on tomorrow for another 20 minutes. We give almost nobody 20 minutes. I'm not sure if Howard Stern walked in, I'd give him 20 minutes.
I appreciate that.
Okay, so you're going to give our fans, there's a college quarterback that nobody watching this show has seen play in a state I dearly love. Tell me the quarterback in college to keep your eyes on this kid if they're on TV this year.
Jordan Love, Utah State. Would not surprise me if he stays healthy, if he's viewed as a top 10, top 5 quarterback in next year's draft.
Okay, by the way.
Now, you can hold me to that. I've been wrong, but I don't think I will be.
Okay, Carson Wentz came out of nowhere. Josh Allen, Wyoming, came out of nowhere. We've had...
And by the way, we talked about Josh Allen 2 years ago, and I told you about him.
You did. So this kid is Jordan Love, Utah State. Okay, we're writing that down. Goulet, why don't you do something for a change? Write that down for me. Okay. What'd you say, Goulet? 6'4", 225. He's got Carson Wentz built.
And he throws it really nicely. He's an over-the-top thrower, and you don't see that very often anymore.
Good. Great seeing you. We'll see you tomorrow.
I'm looking forward to it.
Enjoy with the news.
No.